And we are live here on Smart Money Culture TV. Today is Wednesday, right? Wednesday,
Yes,
the
sir.
13th. Yes, March 13th, Wednesday, March 13th. We are on Smart Money Culture TV as well as broadcasting live around the world on X, LinkedIn, and of course, all of these other wonderful platforms that we have. David, you are in Dublin. A lot going on there. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. The people are excited about the crypto markets, of course. You know, it's pretty much a big buzz, and they all want to talk to me about it.
Of course they do.
So
Make sure you tell them to tune in on here on X or on Smart. You can always go to smartmoneyculture.tv and watch as well. But of course, we're live here on X and on YouTube. Thanks to our partnership with Crypto Cake YouTube, live on Crypto Cake YouTube as well. Really, just a lot going on. As you can see, even in the title there, we have the Tate brothers are released. The Tate brothers are released. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Georgia judge has just gutted this RICO case against Trump. I think it's over. I mean, they're saying there's still some other stuff, but basically, we'll talk about it a little bit. But basically, the call where he says I need votes or whatever, that whole bit's thrown out. That was a big part of it. That thing, I think that thing is over. And of course, the markets are flying. The markets are flying. That is for absolute certain. So, first off, I want to talk a little bit about our man Trump. Let's talk about Trump. Trump and this RICO case and what is going on here. So, of course, you know, Georgia, guys, unbelievable, really. Georgia is like, I mean, it's a mess. It has been a mess. If you remember in the 2016 election, even the shenanigans that went on over there, and the 2016, and then the 2018, and the 22, a lot of appears to me to be a lot of corruption that's going on there, in all the way up to the highest levels with this guy that they can't seem to get rid of, the governor. Probably they can't seem to get rid of him. Since they can't seem to get rid of him, probably it's because of these magic electronic voting machines and everything else that they have going on there. That's what happens to these people. They get in office and then nobody can ever get rid of them, because once they have control of the apparatus, it was the same thing that happened with, in my opinion, what happened with Obama. Right. And Obama was pretty vocal about it. I mean, something about, this and that and the other, and once you have the precincts, and once so once you have your people, if you're crooked, once you have your people involved and in charge, then there's a lot that can go on there. And this is why one of the reasons why, of course, we're always pushing to have safe elections. We want to have safe elections. Talking about Trump and the big win in Georgia. So this judge has thrown it out here. This girl's talking about it right here. Let me just share my screen. Some of this stuff, the news comes in these days so hot that you really have to, you really got to, I mean, it's live. It's a live television, right? So this is from Raheem. Raheem Kassem he's a pretty well-known guy.
Potentially momentous decision or monumental decision that could completely derail the case altogether if Judge Scott McAfee were to come out and say he's determined Fani Willis is disqualified.
Yeah. A couple of things. Absolutely. That's what we're still waiting on. And that was kind of the bomb that we were expecting to drop this week. And so this is certainly a separate, unexpected, though certainly consequential ruling from the judge. A couple of things I want to point our attention to, though, when we talk about those 6 counts, remember, the former president was charged with 13 counts altogether. So for 6 of them to be dismissed, that takes away nearly half the counts that he's facing in Georgia. But when you look at the judge's breaking down of those counts, I want to take you back to what started this whole thing in the beginning. That was that phone call that the former president made to the Republican Secretary of State here in Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, essentially asking him to find enough votes to overturn Biden's election victory here in the state. Well, the judge is basically saying that the charges, the counts related to that phone call, he is throwing out. And so that's kind of what a lot of people know as the biggest thing around these charges for the former president, the biggest kind of action around it. And so the judge in this ruling is saying that those counts related to that phone call are going to be thrown out. What it's also saying is that part of the indictment is that several people who have been charged solicited elected members of the Georgia Senate and the Georgia House of Representatives to, quote unquote, violate their oaths by requesting or asking them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. That's being thrown out as well. And so I think that it's certainly important when we look at the counts, but also what the alleged action was behind it that's also being removed from this indictment. I've been in touch with Steve Sadow. He is the lead Georgia attorney for the.
So pretty interesting what she says there. So basically, it's all falling apart. I mean, it was pretty obvious it was going to fall apart, right? Once Fannie Willis was really outed. Her and her Casanova, their lover, outed. I mean, then it was really just pretty obvious that this thing was going to fall apart. There's an old saying, and that is that people in glass houses should not throw bricks. And,
right.
Once
don't get caught with your pants down.
Was caught. That's what's going on with her pants down. This Georgia case was all over. That's exactly right. The thing is that, yeah, exactly. Okay. If you're having your lover, who's a married person, be the lead prosecutor to prosecute the leading candidate in the United States, but really in the world. I mean, President Trump, he has name recognition. This guy has rock star status. I mean, you're gonna go after the most well-known person in the world. I mean, you could show a picture of Donald Trump to poor kids in the middle of wherever the poorest kids are. I mean, out in the middle of the huts in the Amazon or in Africa or wherever else the real poor people are. I don't want to offend anybody. But you could go out there where they hardly have any connection anywhere and show them a picture of Donald Trump, and they're going to know who he is. They're going to know who he is.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go after somebody like that, you better not be putting your hotel bills, your Casanova, Mr. Boyfriend prosecutor on your bills going off in your. I mean, these people, this was crazy. And then she gets on the stand and says that she put some cash. Since the beginning, when I took some cash out of the campaign, stored it in the house. But since then, I haven't had much. I don't have a lot of cash laying around. It's like, what in the world? If you or I, or if Trump went on the stand and said that, it would be all over, man.
Yeah.
We really have a two-tier system of justice. Because I'll tell you what, I mark my words right here. 9 minutes and 11 seconds into the broadcast on March 13th, nothing's going to happen to her. Nobody's going to do anything to Fannie Willis. She's gonna not be able to do the case, and nobody's going to do anything to her. And that's why we don't get anywhere. That's why nobody's scared of us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There is no reconciliation.
Do you think anything's going to happen to Fannie Willis? I'd like to play that song, but I think YouTube gets mad at me every time, man. I'm over it. I like to play different clips and everything, but then YouTube messages us, and I don't want to. It's just whatever. So, but it was a funny song. But I ain't saying she's a vote rigger, but Fannie, but Fatty only made my lead bigger. I ain't saying she a vote rigger, but Fatty only made my lead bigger.
Oh, too funny.
Right? That was a great song.
Yeah. They tried, and obviously it's failing miserably. So they have a pretty shameful 15 minutes of fame there.
I mean, it doesn't get much worse.
That's pretty bad.
I mean, dude's wife is divorcing him.
Yeah.
There's one thing that wives hate worse than anything, and that's being embarrassed.
This is true. This is true.
There can be all kinds of stuff that goes on, but they don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah, you really got to pick your battles. Probably should have stayed out of that one.
Yeah, well, she thought she was going to get him. So
Everybody
Letitia, the other one,
told her.
they're combing through her background. What is Letitia? What is Letitia James done? What is Letitia James? Man, they're going to pull up everything that woman ever did. Now, she doesn't appear to me, I haven't met her in person, but just doesn't appear to me to be that good looking. So I'm not sure if she really has too much in that category going on there. But yeah, old Fannie. So they're gonna rule. The judge is gonna rule on whether the case is even can move forward. Period. Or no, the judge is gonna rule whether Fannie's in trouble over the next week. Oh, Fannie.
Well, they're not gonna do anything to her. They're just
crazy.
They're gonna drop the next 5 or 6 charges over in the next few steps.
That's I agree with you, and it is a miscarriage of justice.
Yes,
because that cannot be happening, guys. If people if there's never any repercussions for people doing stuff, then they're still going to do it. They're going to try it again.
Yeah.
So let's talk about even the as our man Rudy Giuliani said, the what did he call it? The bank heist video.
I'm
Rudy
not sure.
Giuliani in the bank heist video.
But this weaponization of the justice system is not good.
Yeah. Bank heist video. I'm going to pull that one up because it's worth looking at. And it was so crazy because we had this bank heist video, as he called it, and they're going after him. He's supposed to pay some ridiculous amount. I think he lost it. I mean, it's unbelievable. And here's the thing, guys. It's never going back. It's never going back.
Right?
Yeah. You know why it's never going back? Because you're still sitting there and not making it go back. Until you change it, nothing's going to happen. And you can say, oh, Bruce, what are you doing? Well, I do 2 shows a day with my brother. We do 2 shows a day. We get the word out to a lot of people. We do a lot. Okay, we do a lot. If you were doing what we were doing, and I'm not saying that you should do this, but if everybody was doing this, that would be something. That would be something. Okay, so the bank heist video. This is worth pulling up. The bank heist. Rudy bank heist. I wonder if that'll pull it up. It pulls up my tweet. The bank heist video. They might have just scrubbed the internet from it. Let me see here. I can just, as you guys can join me as I'm talking about it here. Here we go.
To go find the missing emails or hack into the calculations that are
here, but the bank heist tape charges changes the results in Georgia. So here he is. Where's the tape? Where's the video? I mean, guys, it was unbelievable. And everybody just had to act like it didn't happen. It was like it's some weird psychosis that we were all, even though with our own eyes, we see them pulling out ballots from underneath the table. We weren't allowed to talk about it. We weren't allowed to do anything. Let me just, I'll try one other way, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. You guys have all seen it before. What was that woman's name? Do you remember?
Oh. Which woman?
He might have taken it down, but here we go. Vote counting video. Was not debunked, not even close. No, the Georgia vote counting video was not debunked, not even close. Is this the video? Where's the video? Come on. Oh, video unavailable. Yeah, look at that. See, they went to great lengths to make the video not available. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Probably, here it is. Here it is right here. Here it is.
There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these back at about 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the red. So he just pulled one out. So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses? Is the question.
That's the question.
So these machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour. You have multiple machines there, and they're there for 2 hours. So you do the math. How many ballots went through those machines in those 2 hours when there was no one there to supervise, to be present, consistent with your statutes and rules, to supervise the tabulation? We believe that could easily be, and probably is certainly, beyond the margin of victory in this race.
Yeah, I mean, there it is, guys. It's on video. On video. And like I said, we have this just weird, this weird psychosis.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning.
We're supposed to believe. I'll just repost that one too. 43,000 reposts. I mean, that was really the thing, and Rudy, of course, went after it. He called it the bank heist video.
Just restrict the right to vote too much. Maybe they'll. So, I mean, Coca-Cola is going to have to basically pull out of America because we just restrict the right to vote too much. Maybe they'll do well in Venezuela or in a place like China. They seem to really love China, where you don't have any voting at all. You know, Major League Baseball is doing a whole thing to expand in China. Anybody tell the commissioner they don't have voting? I mean, there's no.
I love
commissioner Rudy. Like, there's no voter access in China. You know why? There's no voting in China. And they don't send ballots to the people in the concentration camps either. And you want to expand in China? And you want to pull out of Georgia? What a disgrace. America's pastime? And you're pulling out of Georgia because it's too restrictive? And your headquarters is in New York, it's more restrictive? And you're taking it to a place that's more restrictive, Colorado? And you expect me not to see through that?
Unbelievable, really. I mean, it was like really, really, really something else what went on in Georgia. Absolutely something else. There was also, if you remember what happened, and it's just talking even more about Georgia since I'm talking about it before I move on here, because Georgia's, I mean, there's like, it's kind of like, you know, David, you and I have been down in, we were down in Florida for a while. You know, Florida's dirty, man. I'll tell you, as soon as I saw stuff was happening in Broward County, I thought, guys, Broward County's dirty.
Oh yeah,
It's dirty down there. Whatever's going on there, they're not showing something. There's something going on.
Yeah, they couldn't count the votes in Palm Beach County back in 2000 or 2004. It was like
bro.
impossible.
I voted on those things. First time I ever voted. I never voted again until Trump. But I voted on those hanging chads.
Yeah.
What a way to get involved. Now, those hanging chads were pretty interesting because they anybody with half a brain made sure there were no hanging chads after you voted, after you pushed it through. Chads from 2020.
Oh yeah, they couldn't, and the elderly people are saying they couldn't figure out if which circle they colored in for their vote.
The Florida Supreme Court decided that one. Decided that election. That's how we got.
Yeah.
We got George W.
Yeah. It seems like it was part of a plan, 100-year, 200-year plan.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, I thought at the time, of course, we were much better with George W. I mean, you know, it's kind of the illusion of choice, right? Probably were better with George W. Now, in hindsight, though, I mean, I don't know. Could there have been anybody worse? Because what happened? Twin Towers got hit. One of the reasons I'm a big fan of Rudy Giuliani is because of the way he handled everything. Okay. Twin Towers got hit. And then we didn't have access to information back then like we do now. And then they pushed the Patriot Act. They started DHS, Department of Homeland Defense, which has been an absolute and utter disaster for freedom. They started the TSA, which has been an absolute and utter disaster for freedom. They passed the Patriot Act, which nullified all your different rights. It nullified all of your rights that you had under the Constitution. It completely changed everything. It took everything that you had and held dear away from you. I remember getting pulled over before 9/11. I was a young guy, obviously. I was going to college, though, taking some classes, and I took a criminal justice class. And anyway, going through, I get pulled over, and the guy said, "I want to search your car." And I said, "No." "Oh, you got something in there." And I said, "No, but I know that you can't search me. And so I'm just trying out my rights." "Oh, we're going to call in the dogs. Dog parks. We're going to do this, not the other." "Okay. Go ahead." You let me go. You let me go. And nowadays, what do they tell you? Get the F out of the car. And if you don't get the F out, you get arrested for resisting. You have no rights. You have no rights. Zero. And that's what the Patriot Act did. That's where the FISA courts came in. The FISA courts that were used to go after Trump, that have been used to illegally spy on all of us. Patriot Act George W. was a turning point. in the United States with the Patriot Act. The DHS and TSA. Oh, FISA courts. Let me put it in the Patriot Act, FISA courts, DHS and TSA. We never recovered. So I don't think stolen elections are ever good. And who knows? Look, I actually think he probably won. So to say it was stolen, I don't know it was stolen on those hanging chads. I think he probably won anyway. I think both sides, that was what was obvious to me, is both sides were trying to cheat so much or trying to win so much, which is understandable, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Or make the other side look like a cheater.
Or make the other side look like a cheater. And then you were young, huh? You must have been like 10.
Yeah, I didn't vote. I was in school for 2000, but I did think I was eligible. I was probably 18, 2004. So.
Okay. So you weren't that young. So you had all these people and they were looking and they did, but here was the thing. You had boxes of ballots that were showing up out of nowhere. You had, we had this truckload of boxes that we had. It was just like this latest one in 2020.
Yeah.
Voting in this country is a mess.
Well, they push it to be a mess because they probably are cheating on both sides.
I agree. I think there probably are cheating on both sides. And that's why once we get the guys to Congress, they never change anything. Like, let's talk about that for a second, right? So once we get these guys to Congress, so we vote these guys in 4 years ago, 2 years ago, and they're supposed to fix what we have going on, right? I mean, we know we have an issue with the mail-in ballots. We know that we have with the absentee ballots. I mean, whatever you want to say about them, we have an issue there, right? So, once we get the guys that we elected in there, I mean, you would think that they should take care of them, right? Why don't the representatives, once elected, do anything about the mail-in ballots and magic electronic machines?
Makes sense.
I mean, I can tell you why, right? The reason why is because they're already in there. Once you get in, you don't want to get out, right? Once you have the power, the last thing you want to do is lose it. You don't want to lose the power.
No, don't lose the power.
Nobody wants to lose the power. And so it's easier to just listen to your buddy. And that was why, I was pretty surprised, to be honest, once they were able to get rid of not McConnell, but the other guy, House guy. What was his name?
Johnson or something?
No, it was Mick something. Anyway, you guys know her, the Speaker of the House. But once you got in there, once these young guys get in there, then the Speaker of the House is like, okay, and he had millions of dollars that he had taken from FTX and these other ones. And he goes, okay, well, here, I'll fund your campaign. I'll send you some money. I'll do this, I'll do that, and the other. And then you're beholden to him. And he says, well, let's not worry about that. We have other things to worry about. And there you are. But it's unbelievable. Why in the world would these people that we get in, other than the fact that once they're in, they are bought and owned by the machine, and they want to keep their spot? It's the same reason nobody ever votes for term limits once they're in.
It does seem to be a pretty good career path. I see a lot of politicians are quite lucrative, living very comfortably, and it seems to work quite well for them.
Seems to work pretty well, doesn't it? Works pretty well. All right, let's talk about the markets a little bit, and then I want to curve back around here and talk about the Tate Bros. The markets are absolutely flying. Everybody knows, of course, even with the dollar inflation through the roof, the CPI numbers come out, they're hot. The CPI numbers are funny, so that's the inflation rate. CPI numbers are really funny because, you talk to like a salesman or you talk to this or that or the other, and I always tell people, whatever they tell you, double it. Well, with inflation numbers, whatever they tell you, you got to like 6x it. So if they say it's 3%, then it's really 18%. Or really it's more like 21%. I mean, the real inflation numbers are over 20 to 30%. CPI numbers come in hot. CPI numbers come in hot, they say. CPI numbers are hot. Inflation is hot. Blah, 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 blah. And the markets are still taking off because they know it doesn't matter. They know it doesn't matter. Even if the Fed comes out and says we're going to raise interest rates or whatever. I mean, it just at this point, we're at a point in the history of this privately held central bank, the Federal Reserve, and their printing of money there, which is the taxing of the American people. Not enough people are awake yet.
Yeah. Well, this is a relatively new concept that we realized with all the vital information that tax or inflation is a form of tax.
Yes, you're right.
And I think you should keep telling people every day.
I agree. It's like every day that I feel like we reach somebody new. We reach more people. Yeah. And so we have to keep talking about it because it is the biggest scam in the world. It's the biggest scam, and you're not going to survive. You have to work now. You have to work. Your wife works. Everybody works. I've been complaining about my house because I haven't paid. The house is paid for. I have to pay $2,000 a month to live in my house. If I don't pay it, they'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't even own my house, really. I mean, I do, but not really. If I don't pay that taxes, which is a considerable amount of money, they'll take it.
Yeah. And if you make people aware in some other countries, they might throw you in jail for it, for explaining this scheme that they've created. And at the end of it, after they tax you and tax you and tax you and tax you, and you have nothing left, and the bank has everything, and who has complete power over the situation.
So if you want to know why your pocketbook is hurting and you're hurting, but the markets are flying, it's because they are taxing you. The privately held central bank called the Federal Reserve, which you have no control over, is taxing you to kingdom come. That's right.
All the way down from zero into the negatives and continue.
And continuing. And the markets are going to continue to pump because the people at the top of the pyramid already know what's going on. They're not sitting in US dollars. They're sitting in other things. They're sitting in Bitcoin. They're sitting in gold. They're sitting in other types of assets. Stocks, land, property. The last place you want to be is in the US dollar. Take that US dollar and put it in something. Again, we're not financial advisors and everything like that, but that's why the market is pumping, because the dollar is absolutely crashing. And I've been talking about it for 10 years But this is not sustainable. And we're finally at a point where how much more can they take from you? I guess that's the other question. How much more can they take? So last year, the government, if you go to the Treasury website, U.S. Treasury website, they'll tell you that the government spent $6 trillion. They plan to take in $1.6 trillion on your federal income tax. Let's just say 1.5 because it's actually 6.1, but so it's easy number for everybody. So 1.5 from the federal income tax, which just, by the way, just happens. It's not no accident that that's the amount of money that we have to pay the central bank, the Federal Reserve, in order to service the interest of the $34 trillion that they fronted us. If they didn't front us that money, we wouldn't have spent it. And that's the part that everybody misses. If the government, if the guys that are drunk on printing money in Washington weren't able to tell the federal bank, to the Federal Reserve, to just print the money, then you would have not approved it. They would have come to you and said, hey, instead of your tax bill being, $50,000 or $75,000 or whatever your tax bill is, $20,000, $10,000 this year, it's going to be almost every single penny that you made. Of course, you would say, no, I'm not paying it. If it was double or triple or quadruple, you would say, no, I'm not paying it. And they wouldn't be in a position where they already fronted the money. So the Federal Reserve says, okay, no problem. Here's the money. And they take it from you via inflation, and they charge you a interest, which is about 3%. If you do the math, it's about 3%. There's no official numbers out. But if you figure out the interest rate that we owe on the 34 trillion, you do the math backwards, you'll come out with about 3%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the scam. That's the scam. And that's why the markets are pumping. And that's why we have to close the Federal Reserve. We have to close the Federal Reserve. Absolutely 100%. The central banking system is a failed system. Our founders did not want this as a system. And it is failing. It's a failing system. But that's why the markets are pumping. So let's talk a little bit more about the markets. The markets are pumping. It is really going off over here. We have let me just go over here. Coin Gecko. Of course, our the Global Boost coin, which is one that we were participating in starting many years ago, 10 years ago, is at 3.6 cents. That is well off its all-time high of over $2. Do with that information what you may. That's a real coin like Bitcoin. You can't freeze it, seize it, take it by court order, or anything like that. We have no control over it. We have no control. It's a real decentralized currency like Bitcoin. And I explained it on the show this morning. That's why Bitcoin is so valuable. And that's why after the governments of the world figured out that they couldn't stop it, they just started buying it all. And by all looks, and there might be some chop here, but by all indications, they are going to continue buying all the Bitcoin until it's like $250,000 or more, and nobody can afford it. And then they're going to let you own paper Bitcoin. You're going to be allowed to own an ETF. You're going to be allowed to have it in your portfolio that can be seized, that can be frozen, that can be taken. And that's why Bitcoin is so valuable. Don't ever forget it. We talk about it every day. That's why it's so valuable. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Global Boost. These are original proof of work blockchains. Okay, the rest of this stuff, make money with it. It's great. Ethereum was trading over 4,000, little pullback. I mean, this is a big, guys. I mean, you can make a lot of money. Even look at our friends over here. Look at this. Shib, our good friends. Shib with hat. I mean, this thing, we started talking about this thing when it was well below 10 cents. I think it was like 3 cents or something like that. And look at it right now. 14.18. 1.5 cents. Almost 1.5 cents. And guys, this coin, look, it's all speculative, but this community is absolutely growing. They're growing so much. And it's a SHIB with hat. Shiba Inu is one of the biggest coins out there. Okay, it's like number 9 or number 10 on the list. If I go back over here to our list and look at it, I think it's number 9 or number 10, number 12. Okay, number 12. Here it is. Shiba Inu, one of the most loved meme coins of all time. Okay, so we have. Did I switch my? No, I didn't switch it. Here it is. Shiba Inu, one of the most loved meme coins of all time. Okay, and here we have the SHIB with hat. SHIB with hat. And these coins you can do a lot with. Now, what I like about this one as well is a lot of these meme coins are just, it's all over the place. But you can see this. This is the daily chart right here. Boom. These guys are working it. They're working it. They're talking to us. We're working it together. Look at this. Did I go back?
Growth.
Explosive growth. This is where we announced we're going to take them on TV with us. This is one day that we're announcing. Boom. We hit the TV. Okay. And you want to talk about ROI? Guys? That's something else. Now, if you look at the other meme coins like this, okay, you go back to my back to this tab here, and this they call themselves the dog with hat killer. Look at this, up 30% today, and I actually didn't put that out real quick. I should because if you look at the number right over here, we are the SHIB with hat is up 99%. It's up 30% for today as well. So big. These meme coins are really just going nuts. Dog with hat up 31% today at $2.57. The market cap of $2.5 billion. This market cap has grown in conjunction at about the same rate as SHIB with that since we started really covering this, and that is that it has x'd a number of times. Okay, so when we first started, I think the SHIB with that was like 3 million or something like this. It's now at like 15 million or so, and as well the 14 million, 15 million, and as well the dog with hat was at $1 billion. And now it's at $2.5 billion. I mean, this is like major growth, guys.
Yeah.
This is major growth.
Time.
So we're pretty excited about, look, anytime you make a bunch of money on something, it's exciting, right? So of course we're excited. We're excited about that. It is, it's a fun meme coin. And, as well, we are going to Paris Blockchain Week. Let me just add this. Did I pull it off? Here's the CoinGecko for SHIB with hat. So it's showing up 24%, but just look at this graph. Now, again, it's important here, going back a month, a lot of these meme coins in the back. What I like about this one is, of course, the team behind it. They're putting a lot of energy. They're really going for this $1 billion market cap. And that's the eyes are on the $1 billion market cap. That's where the eyes are on, and it's going to be fun. So, I just got in actually. Just put in our agreement with Paris Blockchain Week. David, we're going to be in Paris covering the Blockchain Week. I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to be doing the show from Paris.
Paris? Yo, you want a burger?
You want a burger? The burger. It's so funny because you go over there and they're always like, "Oh yeah, they don't like Americans over there." Blah 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 blah. Hey, whatever, man. They love me over there.
Especially the ladies.
Especially the ladies. Just ask me. They love me over there. Just ask me. I'll tell you. No, really. I've always had a great time. But they are pretty funny. We've spent a decent amount of time, of course, in Monaco as well. Monaco is very French.
That is
Awesome.
very true. Monaco
It's-
is a gem cut out of France based on a mathematical algorithm, the Monte Carlo math. It's
Right,
a pretty fancy place. There's
It's
no
fancy.
definite answer. It's either possible or it's impossible.
And you can pretty much bet that they're going to tell you, especially as an American, and they know us so well too. They just know us so well. Sure, it's impossible. I had my foot so far up so many French dudes' butts when we were over there. They just kind of gave up telling me it was impossible.
Just do it.
They're telling me it's impossible. I have the back door open. We're bringing in all kinds of crazy stuff. It's impossible. I have a team of like 12 people bringing the impossible in, setting it up.
Exactly. Oh, these are facts.
It's a fun place. It is a really fun place.
Yeah, very special place.
Very special place. So the Tate
And
Bros.
France is beautiful.
France is beautiful.
What's going on with the Tate brothers? They freed our Tate brothers?
Well, pretty interesting. It really is very interesting to me that it does appear that. Oh, and I should mention, guys, silver is flying. Silver is absolutely flying. Up over 2%. But we don't have a whole lot of time left, so I want to talk about Tate Bros. Because what is going on to the Tate brothers is exactly what they plan to do to any of us who get too big. If you get too big or you have too much influence, they're going to go after everything. And they're lucky that they're holding a bunch of Bitcoins and stuff like that, because I'll tell you what, they would have taken everything so far. They've confiscated their cars. They've frozen their bank accounts. They've done all kinds of things. I did reach out to Andrew.
The French company Revolut, the brother Tristan, he had a thread of tweets there, and he was talking about how they're holding almost $1 million off of his Revolut account.
Yeah, and they have no worry of recourse. Why?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You know that you're not going to do anything about it. Here he is. Watch. This is him coming out of jail here.
I want to give absolute credit to Romanian justice for making the correct decision today. Unfortunately, I don't think many people in Romania understand, but in the West, in the countries that are owned by the Satanists, you get to a certain level of fame, you either put on a dress or you go to jail, and I'm happy to make my choice. Jail every single time. My soul is not for sale, neither are my principles. We are innocent men. No, we're very innocent men, and in time, everybody's going to see that, and we're very excited to finish this judicial process we are now.
Well, you are free for now, but still the Romanian court approved extradition to the UK after the trial is over here.
It's very funny because I've been asking Romanian courts to go to the UK myself. I've asked 5 times and been declined, so now I get to go home. That's
you will be in the jail again at the final of the process. What do you think about that?
We'll see.
Well, today the judge told me, would you like to get extradited to England? That was the claim against me that I was trying to flee, and I said no.
So, pretty funny. And this guy, Mischief, he's a friend of mine. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. Make sure to follow all of us. David is Sir David Porter. I'm Networks Manager. Make sure to follow us on X or Twitter. So I'm going to talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to show some more. But the thing about what just happened there is very interesting, because Romania, I've spent some time in Romania, and it is an absolutely beautiful country. I mean, Romania is it is a stunning country. And for them, I have friends there, and for them to take this stance that they are not going to extradite them right away to the UK for these. I mean, guys, listen, if you get big enough, we're getting to the point in the history of Western society, and it is because of the breakdown. It is because of the central banking cartels. It is because of that because we don't have control over our legislation or legal system anymore. Okay. But we're getting to the point where if you get big enough, they're absolutely going to come after you. And they're going to have some girl that you met maybe one time. You remember, you don't remember. You both parted ways on reasonable terms. And she's going to say, he made me do it. Like, absolutely. Like, this is what they do. And they'll fish someone up. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you even know the person. This Jane Carroll woman that Trump now has to pay some ridiculous, like hundreds of millions of dollars to, or $90 million to, or something like that. This woman went on the guy's show and said that rape was sexy. Or something like that. People fantasized about rape. And they allowed her to sue and win against a former president of the United States. So we have to change this. We have to change this. So let's go back. Let me add these guys back to the screen here. My tab. Here he is 20 hours ago. He really knows how to play the media, man. He's got it down. Well, I didn't know it was a photo shoot. I thought he was going to say something.
Well, I don't know, man. Might be too much for the channel.
All right. I thought he was going to say something. He says, I've been in a form of arrest, jail, house, city, country for 444 days. I've never been to a trial and never found guilty of a crime. I was dragged back to jail last night to sleep in the dungeons. God willing, I am free for now. The Matrix is angry. We must defeat Shaitan. That's, of course, now what he talks about, though, with Satanism and everything, guys, he's really on point with. Okay, he's on point, and I brought this up about the money. I brought it up about the money because you have to look no further than your U.S. dollar bills. And I know I keep talking about it, so I promise you that I'll go through it. But if you look at the symbolism on your dollar bill, you will start to understand what is going on. The central banking cartel are very bad people. If they were good people, we wouldn't have constant war since they started. The central bank was started in 1913 in the dead of night. And basically, 1914, we went to World War I. 1913, they started the IRS and they started the central bank. Okay. FBI started a few years before that, but one of its first jobs was to get rid of the dissidents opposed to the war. But we have been in control of the central banking cartel since 1913, and we have basically been at war ever since.
Right. And the great part about crypto is it doesn't use these symbols of dark, evil, or good or bad. Just use mathematical facts.
There's no satanic or occult symbols in the Bitcoin code. I've combed through it myself. And speaking of that code, we have a lot of new stuff coming out with Global Boost, which is a fork of the old Bitcoin code. We're updating that. A lot of new stuff coming out. That's you see up in the top there, Global Boost Media, our decentralized media platform. Super excited about it. Thank you, David, my trusted brother. Go to Global Boost, globalboo.st. Check it out. Boosty, B-S-T-Y. Signing off. See you guys tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Bright and early. Stay tuned and you'll stay lucrative.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.
Get your shit with hat NFTs.